and the end of that suffering will imply you going somewhere else, or God changing his plan altogether about that city or that town or that group of people that God sent you to. So the footnote that we wanted to make before we moved on to the other characteristics that distinguish the soul from the spirit is that your suffering is for a season. You will know when the threshold has been crossed. You are subject, in a sense. When you surrender your life to God, you become subject to what others may or may not want to do with you or to you. That's why when Jesus sent the disciples to the cities, he would say, don't take anything. You go there, and you have to expect them to provide for you. And if they don't provide for you, then they're not worthy of the spiritual word you have for them. If they don't provide for you at the soul and at the physical level, then they're not worthy of the spiritual word. In other words, if they don't provide for your body or your soul, then you are not to provide for their spirit. And the other sub-point, besides the fact that our suffering is for a season, is that we have to have an expectation of reward. We are not supposed to just be masochistic and expect our lives to be in the state of continuous suffering until the end of the days. If the Lord has placed a hope in you that things have to get better, then you have to live by that hope. And there are two reasons for that. If you align yourself with the hope that things have to get better eventually, then you will not die internally. Because as long as you have this hope that things are going to improve, you will remain alive. And as you remain alive, hoping for things to change, this might sound contradictory, but as you wait for things to change, the current state of things will make you suffer even more. Because persons who have lost hope stop suffering. Their souls go numb, and they just don't feel anything anymore, and they no longer suffer. But if your hope is still alive, then your suffering intensifies. And as your suffering intensifies, your soul begins to cry out with louder cries, just like the blind man Bartimaeus. And eventually something has to happen. Either the people who are getting in the way will finally help you, or the people who are getting in the way will finish you off, and you will be done. When it comes to them, you will be done, and either you have to go somewhere else, or you will be physically dead, and God will take you into his glory, and that will be the end of your life. So that's very important. If the suffering of our souls is spirit controlled, if it's controlled by the Spirit of God in unity with our spirit, then you will know when to, as the old song says, when to hold them and when to fold them, when to walk away and when to run. You will know when it will be time to give up, or you will know when it's time to keep on trying until things happen. But all of that is in the context of what others may or may not do on your behalf. It's a very sad situation, but when you're a disciple and you're sent to a city, literal or figurative city, you lose control of your life, and you become subject to what others may or may not do on your behalf. And if they act on your behalf, it will be a blessing to them, and if they don't act on your behalf, it will be held against them, and you will be your suffering will end, and you will have to go somewhere else, either to another city or up with the Lord. But it is very sad when people have been given an opportunity for you to bless them, and they don't react by blessing you back.